for their own mega region. Think the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, right?
Think big. Leaders from Austin, San Antonio, meeting in San Marcos this afternoon to discuss how to make it all work. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has the story.
Representatives from San Antonio and Austin saying bringing together what they're good at, what they're known for, can help create a successful mega region.
Austin down to San Antonio.
These communities that have made this decision to come together and work together
to create a mega region.
Why wouldn't you want to be in this mega region?
Ed Latson with Opportunity Austin says the city of Austin has its strengths.
Austin has been so strong in its growth in the tech community.
Jenna Salcedo Herrera with Greater SATX says the city of San Antonio has its strengths.
San Antonio is a hub for cybersecurity. We're also strong in manufacturing, and bioscience is actually our largest industry in San Antonio.
So the two cities working together with all the communities in between.
I think they really complement each other, and there's ways that we can work together to grow the region into a really strong metroplex.
People can find affordable housing. They can raise their families where they need to raise their families. They can do all the things they want to do to live the life that they want to live. We have all of it here.
But there are challenges with anchor cities 75 miles apart.
We really need to be paying attention to the mobility, the infrastructure, the resources that are going to, supplement this area.
TxDOT is working on a $3 billion project to widen I-35 by 2027. San Marcos, Buda, and Kyle have all entered into a $120 million agreement to share water resources. San Antonio has reserves up to 2070, and Austin has a 100-year water plan.
Studies show this region is expected to grow to nearly 9 million people in the next 25 years. Reporting in San Marcos, Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.
The Texas House today debated a budget bill that includes more money for public schools and cash for a controversial school choice plan. The Texas House may bring the two education plans up for a floor vote next week. Governor Greg Abbott joins us now live to talk about that coming debate. Governor, thanks for being here with us. And we'll start off first that the House is serving up a somewhat of a blended plan between their plan and the Senate's plan on school choice. Includes cost caps, makes kids with disabilities and lower incomes a priority. Are you happy with how things are playing out right now?
So I am, Rudy, as you know, this is the first time in Texas history where the Texas House Committee on Public Education voted out a school choice plan. It's going to hit the House floor next week, and it's going to pass the Texas House of Representatives for the first time in Texas history. And there's a reason why, and that's because Texans across the state, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, or Asian, whether you're urban, suburban, or rural Texan, everybody in Texas says they want school choice. But know this, Rudy, and that is we can have school choice while at the same time fully funding education, giving our public school teachers an all-time record high in pay raises to make sure we're going to have the best public schools, we're going to have school choice options, and finally, we will be putting Texas on the pathway to be ranked #1 in the United States for educating our kids.
Let's talk about that education funding bill, HB 2. You have noted in several recent social media posting that the increase, and you just said it, historic pushing funding well over $15,000 per student. But critics claim that amount incorporates a lot of other funding sources, maintenance, salaries, things like that. You know, the basic allotment in this for students, the state is closer to, $1,600, per student. So why not just end this dispute and just add a lot more money to HB 2?
Well, so we are adding more money to HB 2. Let's be clear, Rudy, because what you said kind of got convoluted. The fact of the matter is we're providing a record amount of funding per student. The basic allotment that you're talking about, all that does is confuse the public. So the public can understand that the basic allotment is a small percentage of the overall funding that goes to funding education. The total amount that goes to schools is more like about $15,000 or $16,000. One reason why we don't put too much money in the basic allotment is because administrators use that to grow administration. If you look at what's happened over the past decade, most of the expansion and spending in education has gone to administration. We need to cut administration. We need to fund what matters the most in education, and that is teachers. And we are going to fund the strategies that will increase pay to teachers so that we can attract the best educators in the country and then provide a great curriculum and provide choice. And those three things combined will put Texas on the pathway to ranking #1 in educating our kids.
Governor, as it reads right now, this ESA program, school choice, if approved, will have to be reauthorized in the next session if I read it right. It reminds me of the Be On Time college loan program that has been limited in the past by budget restraints. Are you worried that a possible recession could make school choice a one-and-done idea?
So, Rudy, you got it wrong there a little bit. It's not going to be, quote, reauthorized. It is subject to having to be funded every session. That's the way the Texas budget works. Every item that we have in the entire budget has to be funded every session. We're prohibited to funding things into the future unless that is done by constitutional amendment. But what we expect to happen is we're going to provide the funding this session for about 100,000 students. And when that happens, two things will arise after that. One, there's going to be parents of 100,000 students who will enjoy this, and they will demand that be done. The other thing that's going to happen is that all these naysayers, all these critics, they're going to realize that all of the false narratives they try to create about school choice turned out not to be true, and that the devil behind the curtain about school choice simply does not exist, that school choice actually helps public schools do better, and as a result, everybody in the state is going to be in favor of continuing our strong support for public schools as well as supporting school choice.
Governor, in the last session, teacher pay and school funding were held up in order to force a vote on school choice. As we all know, that strategy just didn't work. Would you rather see the order flip-flop this time in the coming House debate and have lawmakers vote first on teacher pay, funding, then school choice in order to avoid some type of meltdown again?
So, Rudy, again, you're getting it wrong. The fact of the matter is the votes are there where we don't choose one or the other. If you go back to my State of the State address, I made two things at priorities as it concerned education. One was school choice. The other was teacher pay raises. As governor, I expect to achieve every emergency item I list in my State of the State address. As a result, I know that there are enough votes in both the Texas Senate and Texas House to get to my desk an all-time record amount of pay for our teachers that we want to provide the best teacher pay raise to, at the same time ensuring we're going to pass school choice. We're going to have the best public schools, highly funded public schools, the best paid teachers, and the ability for parents to choose the education pathway that is best for their child.
All right, I got 3 wrongs. Hopefully that makes a right with the governor, at least with me in the future. Thanks, Governor, for talking to us about school choice.
You got it.
And now we want to bring in State Representative Gina Hinojosa, who is a Democrat and a former Austin ISD school board member. She joins us live in studio tonight. Representative Hinojosa, thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Okay, so you just heard Governor Abbott say that you can have both school choice and a fully funded public education system. What is your take on that?
Well, I'll say in the reality of what we're looking at today, we are coming nowhere close to fully funding our schools. The governor, the speaker, the lieutenant governor like to throw out the term fully funded, but let's talk about what that really means. In Texas, we need another $4,000 per student just to reach national average in per student funding. Just to reach 2019 spending levels because of inflation, we need to increase the basic allotment or per student funding by $1,340. This equates to about $18 billion. The proposal before us today is about $8 billion. So a full $10 billion shy of what we'd need just to keep up with inflation. When you put a voucher in that budget, then you blow up school funding in perpetuity. And so, no, we are not fully funding schools. In fact, we are doing more harm than good.
And Democrats have said that this would be taking public funds away from schools, public schools. You know, Arizona passed something similar when it comes to school choice. And what has come of that?
Well, so Arizona has blown up their budget because what this universal school choice is it means that every student currently in private school is eligible to have between $12,000 and $30,000 of their tuition covered now by the taxpayers. We can't afford that. We aren't even investing properly in our neighborhood public schools. We should not put the taxpayer on the hook for covering the private school tuition of every single student in private school in Texas. It's outrageous, and the only reason, because it does, when things don't make sense at the Capitol, you follow the money. The only reason the governor is pushing this is because he received the largest campaign contribution in all of Texas history by one out-of-state billionaire by the name of Jeff Yaz. And that is why taxpayer-funded vouchers are a priority this legislative session and last. It's not about students. It's not about achievement. It's not about Texas taxpayers. It is about making his #1 donor happy.
And I do want to point out, not all Republicans have been on board with school choice, particularly those who live in rural areas and really don't have access to private schools, and they're concerned about funding for their public schools. So is there any middle ground? Is there any room for compromise?
Well, there is conversation about just letting Texans vote. You know, Texas public schools are so much a part of who we are as Texans. They are enshrined in our Texas Constitution. If we're going to make such a big change to the way we educate our students, we should ask the voters what they think. States all over this country have given that opportunity to the voters, and we don't see why Texas voters shouldn't have the same say when it comes to their students' education.
I want to bring it home to Austin because some schools are really in trouble, like Dobie Middle School. They've received poor ratings. Some parents believe that public schools don't meet their child's needs. So should these children be stuck if they can't afford to go to private school or you know, homeschool? What other options are out there without school choice?
Your neighborhood public school is the only option that is a right of every Texas school child. And so if those schools aren't meeting the needs of our students, then we need to make sure that they are, because this term school choice is really the school's choice. This bill gives no child a right to a private school education. Again, the only right any child will have, with or without the taxpayer-funded voucher bill becoming law, will be their neighborhood public school. And so we should ensure that every child receives a quality education in their neighborhood public school.
If your party was in charge, how would you run Texas public education differently?
We would prioritize our neighborhood public schools. We would listen to parents and teachers who say the #1 priority they have is to make sure we have a good teacher in the classroom. That's the best thing that we can do for our students, is putting a qualified teacher in the classroom. We are in a crisis. There's a teacher exodus happening in Texas. My son didn't get a 5th grade teacher a few years ago in Austin ISD, but this is happening all over the state. We now have more teachers, new teachers in Texas who are not certified, and that is because we are not paying teachers their worth. The governor likes to pay teachers lip service, but has yet to put on the table money to pay them their actual worth.
All right, State Representative Gina Hinojosa, thank you so much for sharing your time and your perspective with us tonight.
Thank you.
Coming up, Arch Manning continues to prepare for his first season as the Longhorns starting quarterback. We'll hear from him next in First Sports.
And later at 5:30, the Austin City Council wants to improve 6th Street infrastructure and prevent illegal behavior. We'll take a look at their plans. Stay with us. We're back right after the break.
Fox 7 Austin News at 5 is on your side with Rebecca Thomas and Mike Warren.
As Coach Sark's Longhorns hit the midway point of spring football, the new starting quarterback is getting rave reviews.
Just a guy that a few people know about. Fox 7 Sports Director Dennis De La Pena joins us now with the latest on Arch Manning. Give us an update, Dennis.
Yeah, it's almost like we need the drum roll, daily sting. Earlier in the week, Sark told us how Manning is shining as a competitor and as a leader this spring. The nation's highest profile backup the past couple seasons now has the keys to the Longhorns' potent offense and all the responsibilities that come with it. Arch hopes it will be well worth the 2-year wait.
It was tough. I mean, it's tough in this age, but I hope it pays off. Like I said, there's nowhere else I want to be. I want to be at Texas. I got friends here. Love this place, so I want to be the quarterback of the University of Texas. So sometimes it's worth the wait. I think you have to walk the walk. You got to work hard. It's a game after all, so you got to have fun, smile, laugh. Know that you're going to back these guys up and play for them. But I think I'm imperfect. Like, I'm going to make some leadership mistakes, but it's just continuing to grow, get better every day. I think we're as close as ever. He pushes us, tries to get me to be intentional with everything I do. So I'm really grateful for him, and we're really close right now. Thankfully, I have good people in my corner, good support group, my family, my friends, keep me honest. So that's been kind of the key for me. I mean, it's coming. So I'm prepared, and I'll be ready.
Yeah, we're still almost 5 months away from Arch and the Horns opening with reigning national champ Ohio State in Columbus. Until then, you can at least say hey to Manning and company at the spring-ending Fan Appreciation Day, April 26th. Over to you, Fish.
Dennis, thanks. We got more sunshine for you. No matter where you are in Central Texas, it's going to be a little cooler, too. We'll talk cold front next. Fox 7 Austin News at 5. And my forecast. We're coming right back.
Fox 7 Austin weather with Chief Meteorologist Scott Fisher.
Got another 90-degree afternoon on the April tote board. 2 days in a row with above normal temperatures. And the more I look at this extended forecast, we're looking at a red box here and a red box here. That means above normal temps. And here and here and here and here and here. And potentially even through all 7 days of next week, unless the pattern does seem to change. It's changed for the warmer and drier in the last 24 hours. 79 still the normal. We're only days away now from seeing an 80-degree norm. We were at 90 this afternoon. After a morning that was chilly, relatively speaking, we should be in the upper 50s. We were in the mid-50s. Max Storm radar is up and running, dual sweep mode, and I said it yesterday, we're on cruise control for a couple of days. I don't know the schedule to tweak the radars and repair the radars, but this would be a good week to do it with very little happening on them. Okay, so here's the surface wind forecast, and notice this zone right in here. You've got these northerly winds, you've got these southerly winds. So what does that mean? It means there's a cold front in there. There's a cold front coming to town over the next several hours. Now, as you can see, there are no clouds in Texas with this front, and certainly no showers and certainly no thunderstorms. What we will pick up is a very slight wind shift coming out of the north. Does it mean we'll be cold? No. But a cold front, by definition, has a different air mass density, a different air mass dew point, and typically colder moving in, and we will be a little cooler. Storm track still way up here. I mean, up we go around into Canada, down on this side, still snowing, still chilly up in the northeast. But as far as winds with that front, we see the northerly component, but we're not out of control here. In fact, the wind projections for the most part are in the single digits tomorrow, and we like that. We've got a lot of dry vegetation, but the fire danger risk for most of us is moderate. There are a couple of pockets here in the hill country where it will be high. We're clear on the DJC Law camera at 89. We're clear on the Augusta Vin Hill Country camera at 89. We're clear on the Pella of Austin Skyline camera. It's 90, which is the high for the day, so there's a chance in the revision here in the next 20, 30 minutes, we may have actually hit 91, but we'll wait for the Weather Service to come back with that. Going clear tonight in 59, going with more sunshine and cooler tomorrow, only in the upper 80s. Here's the 7-day. Those upper 80s hang around for another day. We'll go low 90s Sunday, low 90s Monday, and there's another cold front coming in on Tuesday, and that's going to drop us back into the upper 80s.
Cold front.
Yeah. Using that term loosely.
By definition, it's a cold front?
It is.
I'm looking forward to the time when my white truck doesn't look yellow.
Yeah. Oh, all the chartreuse from the pollen.
Oak, very high. Ooh, a couple more weeks.
Yeah, I'm feeling that. I don't know about you guys.
Me too. I'm feeling it bad too.
A couple more weeks.
We need the rain at some point to come and wash it away.
Take the cold front.
Thanks, guys.
Sure.
Stocks surrendered a chunk of their historic gains from yesterday as President Trump's trade war continues to threaten the economy. At the closing bell, the Dow plunged 1,014 points, the Nasdaq lost 737, and the S&P 500 was down 188 points.
Up next, the number of fatalities in the Santo Domingo nightclub roof collapse has gone up. We'll have the latest information.
But first, here's a look at the DJC Law camera overlooking I-35 at Stastny Lane in South Austin. Stay with us. Fox 7 Austin News at 5. We'll be right back.
You're watching Fox 7 Austin News.
The number of people killed when a roof collapsed at a nightclub in the Dominican Republic has surged to 221. Burials and funerals are taking place today for some of the dead, including merengue icon Ruby Perez, who was performing on stage early Tuesday when the cement roof fell onto clubgoers in the Jet Set Club in Santo Domingo. The Center of Emergency Operations finalized its search after crews rescued 189 people alive from the rubble. But doctors are warning that some of the 24 patients who remain hospitalized are still not in the clear, especially 8 who are in critical condition. Still, no word yet on what caused the roof to collapse.
Russia has released a dual citizen American who has been jailed on a treason charge in exchange for an accused smuggler held in the U.S. The swap came just hours before the start of a new round of talks between U.S. and Russian negotiators in Istanbul, and on the same day as high-level meetings of NATO allies aimed at coordinating efforts to aid the Ukrainian military and economy. Ksenia Karolina is now heading home. The U.S.-Russian dual citizen was freed this morning as part of a prisoner exchange between Washington and Moscow. She was arrested in February of last year while she was visiting her family in Russia, then convicted of treason because of a $52 donation she made to a U.S.-based Ukrainian charity. Karolina was traded for Arthur Petrov, who was accused of illegally exporting high-tech equipment to Russia. Coming up on Fox 7 Austin News at 5:30, Congress may decide whether to continue or get rid of daylight saving time. Plus,
I'm Cliff Thornton at the UIL State Soccer Championships in Georgetown, where we have 2 area teams playing for state championships today. We'll have the highlights.